This is the second of two videos demonstrating BigWave's role-based security features. If you are a newcomer, it's recommended to watch both videos in order. However, if you just need a quick overview on how to implement security roles, then watch this video. You must be an admin in BigWave to adjust security roles. Also, we will use the two-browser method to easily and quickly adjust a role. Roles are found in the Actions Setup area in BigWave. In this demo site, you can see we have 5 roles listed. There is nothing special about their names, but it's convenient, for starters, to have a role to match each type of user that can log in. You can name the roles however it makes sense for your company. For example, instead of a role named Customer, you could call it Account, if that makes more sense. The point is, there's nothing special about the name of the role to BigWave. Also in this example, we have one additional role of Project Manager that can be assigned. Click the Show Logins link to show all logins associated to a given role. And click this Permissions link to edit the permissions for a given role. Even though we already have a customer role, I will create a new customer role so you can see the complete process. I'm going to create a new role called Customer Limited to severely limit what logins assigned to this role can do. In our example, I only want logins associated to this new role to be able to view the details, action items, and deliverables sections of a work order. Let's see how to get this done. The Permissions dialog shows all available permissions in BigWave in alphabetical order. The bolded labels represent pages or major functionality areas in BigWave. Then the Children permissions enable a finer grained control beyond the parent option. The gear controls you see in the batch column enable you to quickly turn off the sections associated with that gear. For example, if I hover over the Approval Custom Fields gear, the entire section lights up to show what will be affected. And then I can toggle entire sections quickly. Notice, if I choose the very top gear next to the role name, I can turn everything off. Now notice all sections have been disabled. Let's see what happens when we use a login assigned to this new role. To test, I will open the Portillo's customer, add a new contact, create a login, and assign our new Customer Limited role. I log out and log in with a new username. The customer landing page opens with nothing available except access to her profile. Nothing else, including quick search, is available. So this isn't too useful, but at least we have a starting point now. Let's go back to our admin user and adjust the permissions for our new role so it's able to have access to the things we need. I'm going to scroll down to the customer section and turn on all options. You can probably guess our next move will be to log out and log back in as Stacy to see the results. And you can see how this can become a bit of a chore. It turns out there's an easier way to adjust permissions and immediately see the results. We refer to this as the two-browser method, and using it you can quickly adjust role settings and see the results. This does require you use a completely different browser. For example, my current browser is Chrome, so I will need to find another for the two-browser method to work. I'm working in Windows, so Microsoft's Edge browser is available to me. If I are on a Mac, I could use Safari. Or if you use one of those two browsers as your primary, then install Chrome and use that as your second. Doesn't matter the combination, you just need 2 separate browsers. Without getting too technical, implementing this two-browser method by simply opening a new tab in Chrome doesn't work. You have to use 2 different browsers. If you have 2 monitors, you can have each browser in its own screen. For this demo, I put them side by side on the same screen. Now that I have both browsers open, I keep my Chrome browser logged in as my admin user and log into the second browser with the customer login. Notice, since we adjusted the role settings, now there is much more available to my customer user. I don't want all these functions available to the user, so now I need to start taking things away. Anything in the setup area I want to turn off. Also, I want the detail section to show, but be read-only. Let's fix that. Back to my Chrome browser, I adjust the permissions. Looking at the setup area, we need to turn off billing addresses, contacts, custom fields, documents, import-export center, and regions. Notice, since I unchecked the read option, all other options become unchecked. I click Save Changes, and a message tells me to refresh the page in my other browser to see the changes. I refresh, and, as expected, everything in the setup area is now hidden. The last change I want to make is to have the details available but read-only. I uncheck the Update option on this section, save changes, and check again. Now the details area is still available but read-only. Back to the Role Permissions dialog, you probably noticed I left the Insert and Delete checkboxes checked, but they don't have any meaning in the Customer Details context, so it doesn't matter if they are checked or not. In fact, mostly all you'll be doing is hiding specific areas. If you check or uncheck an option and don't see any changes, then that option simply doesn't do anything. The UI presents all the options as sometimes they are relevant, sometimes they are not. Having said all that, if you are having trouble making a certain role behave in the way you need, then please reach out to us at support@bigwavesoftware.com for assistance. Notice when I click on Work Orders and try to open a work order, the page sort of flashes, but nothing happens. This is because the permissions settings are preventing the action from occurring. Let's fix that. Back to the Permissions dialog, I scroll down to the Work Order area and make the entire thing read-only. Save changes, and now I am able to open the work order under this role. Just like the Customer page, the Work Order page has lots of configurable permissions. Using these, I can limit the role to certain areas like details, action items, and deliverables. So now I will mark the entire section No Access and turn on the sections I want the role to see. Remember to make the overall work order line read-only. This allows access into the work order page itself. Now I refresh the page and have the role set the way I need it. The rest of the permission options follow a similar pattern to what we see here. That is, they start with a page or major functionality area, and then the children options enable a finer grained control within that page or area. Lastly, if you want to create a role similar to another, use the Copy Role Permissions function to quickly initialize your new role to match an existing role. Once that is done, you can quickly modify it from that starting point. This video showed how to manage security roles and permissions in BigWave. As always, if you have any questions, please email us at support@bigwavesoftware.com.